the allegations were crazy. Now, I had never heard that Kid Cudi's car got blown up.
Me neither.
But apparently he confirmed that his car got blown up. Now, I have owned probably maybe 15 cars throughout my life. I have yet to have one blow up.
I had a 1967 Volkswagen blow up, but Puffy was nowhere in the scene, and I didn't know Cassie. So I can't. I've had that happen.
Really?
Volkswagen
But that was a 67.
Right.
So I don't think that
I wasn't seeing abroad, and then it blew up after that.
Right.
So no, you're right. You're right.
Right. I have dated many women in my day. I have yet to ask any of them to go find a male prostitute that's well endowed for me to watch them.
No.
Have intercourse with them. That's just something I've never done.
Not right. Nor have I. But here's the thing. When we're talking about predilection, somebody might be predisposed to dig a thing, as opposed to somebody being coerced or forced into an act. Because I don't know where one line begins and one doesn't. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I've never in my movies I got a one dick star. That's me. That's it for me. That's what I am. People can like what they like.
Yeah.
What I find repulsive is and there are people who I don't know what level of belief or credibility these allegations have. I can't say. I'm not one of these people that go, you got to believe her just because. But if enough people say enough things, it's at least curious.
Yeah. And I just think the lawsuit with the level of detail that was...
It was a lot of detail.
It was a lot of detail.
Mexicans haven't detailed a car that good. If you found somebody with a detailed service like that, you'd hire them. I'm like, wow, this is...
You got to hire Cassie's lawyer.
Wow.
to work on your car, because his level of detail
But here's the thing
exquisite.
that really fucked me up, right?
Okay.
It was that level of detail, and you settled, because what else was coming after that? Like, if something was worse than that...
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he knew about the lawsuit, because a lot of times when it comes to these types of lawsuits, you will send the complaint to the person before you file.
Yeah, I know.
And you know how this works. And they can look at it and say, I'm going to fight this. Or they're going to say, let's take care of this before it hits the public.
Yes.
Clearly, he did not deal with this before it hit the public, because when it hit the public, it was insane. And there was other people that were mentioned in it, and some of those other people, like Roger Bonds, the security guard, basically said, I'm not disputing any of these facts, and I got 4 daughters of myself, and so forth. But he did stay employed with Puffy.
So wait. You had those 4 daughters while he was doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
To me, when somebody says bullshit like that, then they were willing to live off his largesse until it didn't serve them anymore.
Right.
So you lose credibility. The one thing I can say unassailably that is absolutely true about Sean Puffy Combs, the one thing I know unequivocally he's guilty of, is serving the nation's Ciroc. That's the fucking, you can't deny that. Anybody that came up with pineapple Ciroc is guilty of a lot of shit anyway. So I can't even say that. But the other things, you know, if you were if a mob boss was testifying against one mob boss, they would look at the things he had done or allowed to happen to assess his credibility. And I think it's the same thing for me with these people. Like, you allowed this shit to happen. You didn't say anything about it. You lived off his largesse. You ate at his table. You participate. And then everybody else, I don't care whatever story happens, everybody's the hero of the story they're telling. Everybody.
Well, yeah, because you can't deny the fact that Cassie was with Puffy for like 10 years.
Right.
10 years.
Right.
So all this time, and she would leave, come back. So obviously she liked the lifestyle. She liked what he was providing.
Something.
You know, because if it was like, okay, he hit me and then I was out.
Right.
And then now I'm suing over that incident. No, she came back and came back.
Right.
And they would break up, come back, break up, come back, break up, come back. He had baby mothers that he was still dealing with and so forth. And, you know, and there was probably abuse on both sides.
Sure.
Because if a man gets hit by a woman, that's considered no big deal.
Right.
But if he does anything in response, then he's the bad guy.
If we take the metric of time, if we make these allegations 20 years earlier, nobody says anything about it. Nobody.
I don't know.
Nobody. Hey, look,
20 we are in the Me Too era, so yeah. I mean, there is
20 years ago, Bill Cosby was America's favorite dad.
Yeah, this is true.
So R. Kelly was still making hits 20 years ago.
Harvey Weinstein was Hollywood royalty.
So we are victims of skewing history through our perspective of it, right? It doesn't mean that it was just like slavery was always horrible. Doesn't mean it's less horrible now. This kind of conduct was always horrible. Doesn't mean it's less horrible now. Mm-hmm. It was a function of the time, or some of these things were a function of the time. I think that if a dude, like, there are men that I have known that have, when this thing happened with Puffy, what I had to do, how many men do I know that have been in my circle that even have an inkling of these tendencies? And I had to say that it makes me uncomfortable to know that I've potentially been around people like that. Mm-hmm. And because I think that far too many men, far too many people have this perspective.